Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
I told you not to mention wild folk dance. Hi-de-ho.
Hot dog.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Well, hi folks, this is Horses Sing None of It, and that was Lou Gelfand playing that Some Pumpkins tune. And my name is Ralph Litwin, and we got a special guest in the studio today. His name is Roger Deitz.
Hey, Roger.
How you doing, Roger?
It's great to be here with you guys.
And
fine.
Roger is, well, in the folk music world, Roger has hit the big time. He's
All things are relative.
He's played at Philadelphia Folk Festival 2 years running, and he's opened for Pete Seeger and Arlo Guthrie. And, well, by golly, I just tip my hat off to you.
Well, you taught me everything you knew, Ralph. And sent me out into the world. I've done the best I can. Yeah, things are going well.
And Roger, you do some writing. You write songs and prose.
I've written for a number of magazines. Fast Folk magazine I wrote for about 5 years. Frets and Sing Out and some other music magazines. I just did an article for Acoustic Guitar, which is a new magazine replacing Frets, and prose and poetry and songs. Word processors are wonderful.
Well, your fingers are wonderful. You've got 5 in the sand, and they never leave his hand.
That's right.
While he's playing.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, they never will.
Yeah.
But you've got 2 styles. I know you're working on a new style, a new flat picking style, but your finger picking is.
I used to finger pick, and I did for a number of years. And what happened was, it just wasn't reliable enough. I wasn't able to get the kind of power into the playing and the control that I wanted, particularly when I was in front of like 10 or 20,000 people. And as I started.
Well, show us what you mean by good finger
Well,
picking tune.
what I did was I took what was my frailing banjo style. And Ralph, I know frails on the show all the time. And the thing I like about frailing is you can get the chords, and then every now and then you can get a little bit of melody in. So let's see. Let's see. Try and get a bit of the chord behind some sort of melody or counter melody, and this I've been doing for a little while. It's the Roger Deitz style of playing. Nobody else will try that.
Well, why don't you give us a song? Pick one
I'll do
out.
a song and perhaps even play in the Roger Deitz style. This is a new song, a favorite of camera persons everywhere. The one I played at Philly this year for the first time. Well, I work all day making shadows in the sun, and I want to party hard when the day is done. Forget my job and head downtown. Have a little fun when the sun goes down. I'm a-going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm a-going downtown, going downtown tonight. I'm gonna buy me a bottle of brew. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. When that bottle's done run dry, wipe a little tear from the corner of my eye. I'm going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm going downtown, I'm going downtown tonight. And I'm gonna find me a barroom fight. That's the next thing I'm gonna do tonight. Make myself a few new friends. Just hope I'm a-standing when it ends. I'm going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm going downtown, going downtown tonight. And I'm gonna find me a pretty young bride. Take her downtown on a buggy ride. Ride right by that general store. Make all the other fellas sore. I'm going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm going downtown, going downtown tonight. Got the same feature at the old Bijou, though I seen it a time or two. They got this machine what cools the air. It's hot outside, I'm a-going in there. I'm a-going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm a-going downtown, going downtown tonight. Gonna find me loving at a dime a dance. Ain't met her yet, ain't had the chance. She's gonna teach me a few real slow, dance a few reels on the go. I'm going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm going downtown, going downtown tonight. coffee from the paper cup. It's always real pretty when the sun comes up. I think I had some fun last night. Leastways what I can remember all right. I'm going downtown, downtown, downtown. I'm going downtown, going downtown tonight. Going downtown tonight. Going downtown tonight.
All right.
Right.
New one.
You wrote that one.
It's newish. I wrote it.
It sounds oldish.
Well, it's hard to write them new and sound old.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but that does. And that way, if it's the same as somebody else's song, they can't sue me. No copyright infringement on an old one like
So
that.
folk music is alive and well in the Orange Mountains.
So at my house, there's always somebody playing. Yeah.
It's coming from West
Since
Orange.
you left, you used to live in West Orange,
I
did you not?
My
Yeah.
family, folks still do.
Yeah, we
I took
figured
off.
somebody had to hang up there and keep the tradition alive in West Orange.
Right.
Still music going on.
Right, hang in there. Yeah, I've since moved out to West Jersey.
Yeah.
But dip in all the time toward the city. And so you were talking about another style. Two styles that,
Yeah.
that you like most.
Well, I mean, I'll finger pick sometimes. Let's see. But I hate to use finger picks, which will make it loud enough, and without the finger picks, it's kind of a little bit lower. You gotta.
It's so mellow, real mellow.
But it's nice, you know. It's just music. I like it all. I like music mostly when other people are playing. I like to sit back and listen to people play.
So how are you involved in the folk project in your area?
Not much. For a while, I was involved in Folk Project and Folk Music Society in Northern New Jersey. I helped put on June Days Folk Festival for about 5 years. And
That was a great festival. We always see
wonderful
a lot of fun
festival.
with that.
Yeah.
Up in the park, Eagle Rock.
Yeah, we've had people like John Hartford and Patrick Skye and Gamble Rogers and Mike Cross and David Bromberg and just about everybody else. You guys have played.
We've been there.
Everybody's been up there at one time or another. It was a great festival, good music.
Where did it go?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of hidden for a while. It's still taken the form of a summer festival, a free festival out at the Riker Hill Art Park. You check your local listings early in the summer. They revived June Days last year, and it was good music. But I don't know exactly what happened, but we were dispossessed. Someone said, go play someplace else. And that's what happened to that. But maybe it'll be back someday. It's fine at Riker Hill. It's fine at Riker Hill, but it's
Riker
kind of
Hill's
got
a
a
nice
different.
spot.
It's got a different character to it now. Just it feels like a different festival, so we might as well give it a different name.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to take a little break
Let's
here
take a
for
break.
some important messages.
That's right.
No doubt.
We'll be talking behind your backs while you're gone.
Randy Travis on strings. Branford Marsalis on the horn. Paul Schaefer on keys. Carly Simon on lead. There are a lot of different parts to play in the American Red Cross. Play your part.
Every year, thousands of people are killed with a frying pan. Reduce your intake of high-fat fried foods and help reduce your risk of cancer and heart disease. For a free booklet on low-fat eating, call 1-800-EAT-LEAN.
Hi, I'm Nancy Schill from the Fiddlesticks Cloggers. I'd like to tell you about the Folk Music Society of Northern New Jersey. It's a nonprofit folk music organization. They have concerts at the Eagle Rock Avenue Environmental Center in Roseland. And they also have concerts at the Ethical Culture Society in Maplewood. They have a newsletter they put out on a regular basis, and they have house parties and different events at different times of the year. If you'd like to know more about it, we'll give you the address where you can write, and you can become a member or just find out some information about when the concerts are. It's at 621 Eagle Rock Avenue, Roseland, New Jersey. The number will be on the screen for you, and I hope I'll see you there.
Well, we're back on Horses Sing None of It with Lou Gelfand, myself, Ralph Litwin, and our guest today, Roger Deitz. And our camera lady, Nancy Schill, always likes to know, Roger, how did you first get interested in music?
What an interesting question. Well, I heard Nancy playing the fiddle once. How did I get interested in music? I was given piano lessons and accordion lessons at age 5 and 7 respectively, and then, or disrespectively, and then played for a while, and then played by ear. I took up banjo around 1969. A buddy at college had learned how to frail a banjo after Michael Cooney's fashion, and I said, wow, what a great sound. I got to learn how to do that. And then a couple of years after that, I bought a second-hand guitar from a fellow who had hocked his saxophone for it and then found that he couldn't blow into it and it was of no use to him, and then started to play the guitar. I was going to the folk festivals starting about the middle of 1964, 65, and then listening to music. And that's how I got interested in this kind of music, but I listen to all sorts of music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You've always appreciated the turn of the word, though, haven't you?
I like to turn words.
Turn words around.
No, I do. I like to write, and I think of myself as a writer, and I'm always trying to become a better writer, and always experimenting. And most of the songs you hear, or the articles, I wrote a book called The Folk Music Chronicles, and all the articles in it from Fast Folk were really experiments. I was trying different things and seeing what I could get away with and what worked and what didn't.
Could you dream up a song on that order?
Well, I'll dream up a song. This is a song
archive.
which is based upon the life of a real man, but it was not a song first. It was a poem I wrote first. And the poem sounds more like a recitation, so you might not notice. The song is called Grandpa's Knife. And again, what's interesting about it is it wasn't a song first, but it was prose first. Well, we'd sit on the dock, out at the bay, with the wood chips a-flying. Every which way Grandpa'd whittle down wood, as he whittled down the day, with his old dog by his side. He'd carve himself a wood link chain, or a ball in a cage. It was always the same, he'd finish up one and start over again. I remember Grandpa's knife. Grandpa's knife with the silvery blade, and all the good times that he made, telling stories about the good old days gone by. He'd sing his favorite song, Old Dan Tucker, and all day long. Sometimes we'd laugh so hard we'd almost cry. Then we'd rush back home at the end of the day with a big white moon hanging out over the bay. And Ma, she sure had plenty to say, but she'd scold us with a smile. She'd say, I don't know just how you two sat on that dock all day with nothing to do but Grandpa'd wink, 'cause he knew we'd be back there in a while. Grandpa's a knife with a silver blade, and all the good times that we made, telling stories about the good old days gone by. They'd sing that favorite song, Old Dan Tucker, all day long. Sometimes we'd laugh so hard we'd almost cry. It's quiet on the dock now, and out at since Grandpa went and passed away, and I miss the stories, and I miss the smell of white pine in my life. But I've got that knife and I carry it still. I keep it in my pocket where I always will. And for me, old Grandpa is a whittling still. I remember Grandpa's knife. Grandpa's knife with a silver blade, and all the good times that made, telling stories about the good old days gone by. We'd sing that favorite song, Old Dan Tucker, all day long. Sometimes we'd laugh so hard we'd almost cry. Now sometimes I laugh so hard I almost cry. Grandpa's knife.
So who was that about?
Well, it's about a real person, but it was very strange. A friend, I'd gone out to play in L.A., and someone else who was on the bill was telling me about her grandfather, who was ill, and then got a call that he passed away. When I got back, I write every morning at about 6 or 6:30 in the morning. I get up and I start writing, and I thought about it, and somehow it became a story about a grandfather who had passed away, and about a fellow who had whittled. And I said, well, I really ought to send this out and let her know that, I wrote this story. Then I got back in return mail clippings of articles from the past 20 years about this guy who was a whittler and turned out to be her grandfather. So, and I swear she had never mentioned it to me, but it was one of those things. But she was from Indiana, and somehow listening to her accent and listening to her talk about Grandpa, I figured, well, this is what the guy's got to be from the way her voice sounds. And it was odd, but she said there were 2 or 3 things in the story which weren't right, and her grandma was really angry about. But, we psychics can't get it all right. And then a short time after that, I was reading that at gigs, and I thought, well, there's a song there, and let me try and write a song. I wrote a song too. Now I usually do the song, and I'll read the piece, which is a little long, I think, for today's television.
Mm-hmm.
You've been traveling around the country too.
I travel some, and I've started to travel more. There was a time where I didn't want to be at too many places playing as I did before I was sure I was playing as I wanted to. So I didn't want, people will remember you as you were, and I pretty much tried to stay in the New York area and improve and listen to people, whatever. But now I'm playing more and more. I've got an agent a little while ago, a wonderful man, and he, first of all, I can blame him when I don't get a gig, and for a small percentage of what I make, which is a small percentage of what most musicians make anyway, he finds me things, and because he's pretty well known, I'm getting gigs at places where I never would have thought I'd play as a main act with decent guarantees and things like that. So it's a whole different thing this year.
That's great.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Well, give us another tune here.
Another tune.
Yeah.
I'd love to play a song called Dancing Sally. Again, this is based on a true story that I heard about a person who took her own life up in Maine. She was half Indian and half, I think she was French. And I thought about what it must be like to not quite be sure where you fit in. It's called Dancing Sally. Dancing Sally, the poor half-Indian, worked the shoe factory by day on a big hot-done machine for just a little bit of pay. Someday she'd think so little that she wouldn't think at all, and she'd wake up in a pile of shoes when the evening spirits called. That's when she'd dance by the moonlight, kick off her shoes and fly. Then she'd turn and she'd whirl till she'd almost reach the sky. Then she'd laugh at the moon till that made her cry. Dancing Sally's found a better way to die. She'd hoped to study dancing like the kids who take ballet, but the teachers only laughed and said that Indians don't dance that way. So now she dances in the moonlight where no other eye can see, in a lot behind the factory, 'neath the weeping willow tree. That's where she danced by the moonlight, pick off her shoes and fly. Then she'd turn and she'd whirl till she'd almost reach the sky. Then she'd laugh at the moon till that made her cry. Dancing Sally's found a better way to die. 100 shoes an hour, 1,000 shoes a day. Lots of white folk out there working, even more of them at play. Someday she'd kick her shoes off and she'd never work again. She'd just dance into the next life, things would be much better then. Yeah, she'd dance by the moonlight, kick off her shoes and fly. Then she'd turn and she'd whirl till she'd almost reach the sky. Then she'd laugh at the moon till that made her cry. Dancing Sally's found a better way to die. She's gonna dance until she dies.
Pretty serious.
Yeah, well, that's a little serious. But it's still a song.
Yeah. Well, let's take a little break here and come back and play some more music for you.
Hi, everybody. You're wondering how you can get on this show. Well, it's a secret. No, maybe Ralph will tell you.
I will tell you. You know, all you have to do is write.
Don't tell him. Oh,
we're gonna give you the address and the telephone number to write to. Okay? It's gonna come up on the screen. And if you're a musician of any kind, a performer, any kind of ethnic music, we'd love to have it. If you're Bahamian or Lithuanian, anything like that, we'd love to have you.
Just give us a call and we'll get you on the show. We'd love to have you on.
Well, folks, that's about all we have time for. I'm Ralph Litwin, Lou Gelfond, and look for Roger Deitz playing all over New Jersey.
I'll be playing all over New Jersey.
We're going to take it out with Lady Be Good. Thanks for being with us, Roger.
Who starts?
Guess you do.
I'll roll it around.
Lady, be good to me. been so awfully misunderstood. So lady, be good to